So gotta get back to my life again. Don't wanna be sidetracked, living my life on the edge. Gotta get back to my life again. Don't wanna be sidetracked, living my life on the edge.
So many people talk about Knuckle Up, it'd be nice to hear it in their own words. Dane and Matt, welcome to WHOATV. My first question is to you, Dane. How did you get involved with MMA and with Knuckle Up?
I got involved in UK MMA actually. First show I went to was actually Andy Jardine's. He asked me to come down and DJ and come and watch the show. To be honest, I kind of fell in love with it. I mean, I'd always watched the UFC, but I kind of didn't really know anything about the whole UK side of things. I met Matt at that show. He invited me down to his one at Celtic Manor, which was another one that I went to and loved. And at that point, I kind of had a few promoters asking me would I come on and like present the shows and stuff. And with Matt, you know, we sat down and had a conversation, and I felt if I was going to do it, I wanted to get a bit more involved. You know, maybe, you know, really try and make it a commercial thing with all the contacts I had in TV. So from there, it kind of just moved on.
It's worked, didn't it? Yeah.
So I kind of, you know, I'm still learning. I'm pretty useless at knowing a lot of the stuff, but I'm getting there. A lot of the fighters, yeah, he kind of looks after all that. I just do the TV bit.
And my next question obviously is to you, Matt. There's been a lot of bad press recently about the copyright, the Knuckle Up logo. Can you give us the truth on that?
It's quite straightforward, really. Now, set aside what you read everywhere and what you listen to. I lived in the States, which is quite widely known for a number of years. I trained at a gym which is called Knuckle Up Fitness over there, heavily involved over there. There were shows that we used to put on, mixed martial arts shows. We had meetings over there, knowing that I was going to come back to the UK. They're going to branch into the UK with Knuckle Up Fitness throughout the UK. I had to come back because my visa didn't get renewed, unfortunately. So I came back. In that time scale, the Knuckle Up Fitness brand in the US changed hands. So the agreement I had, you know, just sort of disappeared, but I'd already set up Knuckle Up in the UK. So I just carried on with it.
I think the problem is people like to talk and like to spread stuff around, which is fine. You know, we're kind of not ones to sit there and get involved in little kind of Facebook battles, really, if I'm honest. This is probably the first time we've really kind of answered the questions, which we've never had a problem doing. You know, the reason obviously we've got new logos is because that's what we wanted anyway. We wanted to make sure that everything is legal and above board. You know, this is a business. We've got a lot of money in it. I think, you know, we're very sensible, and we do.
In all fairness, that logo changed a long time before the recent allegations.
It did. You know, we didn't change the logo because of those allegations.
No. What I'm saying is those allegations came along a lot longer after.
Yeah, exactly. So I mean, they're unfounded. You know, I mean, I know that, you know, it's been posted and pictures have been shown of the, you know, of the Knuckle Up in Douglasville and stuff, and they actually have got no problem with us whatsoever. Even though people have been emailing them and trying to kind of stir stuff up. They're absolutely fine. You know, we're trademarked, we're copyrighted. Like I said, it's a business with money in, so you know, I wouldn't step into something if it wasn't properly done. So, but listen, like I say, you know, that's why it's nice to do this. It's nice to you know, to answer the questions, and we've never had anything to hide. And if I'm honest, I think we're quite, you know, we're actually, out of everyone, we're the promoters that literally say we'd love other shows to do well because it's good for the sport.
Yeah,
and I think, you know,
we try to communicate with as many shows as possible. They work with us, we work with them. I say 90% of the shows, you know, that we've come across and promoters are great. You know, they want to work with us. Other gyms do, which is fine. You know, but obviously you get that minority which think the whole world's against them.
Right, this is what I would like to understand, the whole turf thing. I mean, don't get me wrong. We actually, everywhere we've been, we've actually spoken to promoters and said, you know, this is a date we're doing this and that. Is it okay? And like I say, 90% have been totally fine. There isn't a monopoly on where people are. Obviously, we don't want to sit in and ruin someone's business or, you know, take something away from them. But that wasn't what it was. You know, what we were doing, what tried to do with London, was something totally different. A venue that no one else does. And don't get me wrong, I think we tried to run before we can walk, and we had everything that could go wrong did go wrong. You know, and obviously we're more frustrated than anyone about the fact that we have to cancel shows, and trust me, you know, we lose a lot of money doing that. But for us, we're trying to bring the sport on. You know, personally, I'm trying to get it to audiences that haven't got a clue about it. You know, that's why we have different media, different press. You know, Knuckle Up has been spoken about on different TV shows, and I'm trying to get it out to a different audience. And no matter what you say, people like Alex Reid are great for that as well. You know, it does move the sport on. You know, I went to Bama, and it was great. It was great seeing a packed venue in the UK. for MMA with people that just would never have gone to a show before. And that's what we're trying to do. You know, if people are sitting there kind of, oh, you know, you're on my turf, you know, can't believe you're doing a show 30 miles from my show. I mean, wow.
That was the best one.
Yes, I mean, you know, it's ridiculous. And if I'm honest, I think the fighters actually should speak up a bit more, because they're the ones that are getting hurt by everyone sitting there saying, oh, you can't fight on that show and you shouldn't fight on this show. It's ridiculous.
We've got no problems with fighters fighting wherever they want.
I think they should.
Turn around and say to them, look, you can only fight for us. If you fight on that other show, you're not fighting for us ever again.
Yeah, it's ridiculous.
Because that's flying about at the moment with different fighters.
They've got to make their names, you know, they've got to make their money, they've got to get their following. And I think, to be honest, the more good shows we have in this country, the better the sport's going to be. Now, don't get me wrong, I know there's loads throwing up here and there, but to be fair, you know, fighters need platforms to actually build their talents and to build their support. And that's definitely what we promote.
I think it's too many of the lower level shows where they're not necessarily taking into consideration the safety of the fighters. You know, the matchmaking is just, you know, the local security guard stepping in, you know, and so that's not too great. And again, it does ruin it for the guys, the other promotions coming in, trying to do it legitimately, all the medical insurances and everything else, you know, trying to protect the fighters and do what's right by them. So that does damage it slightly. But we're hoping to, you know, bring it up through a different audience. So I mean, you know, a lot of shows, they have sort of predominantly, you tell what their target audience is. Ours, you know, we got 35–40% female turn up at all our shows. You know, they treat it as a nice night out. They come as a group of women, you know, all dressed up for a night out, and you know, it's great. You know, it just shows that they're treating it as a night out rather than just a load of guys turning up, you know.
I mean, it's hard to sit there and say, don't try and do it and don't try and promote, because it's great, you know. If people want to try and do it and bring the sport on, brilliant. But like I say, we spend a lot of attention to detail with stuff, you know. We've got the best security that we can get, the best paramedics, you know, everything is done properly. I feel that we look after the fighters really well. We do put them first, which is why when things happen like Bolton, where we had a problem where we couldn't pay them for a while, we were gutted. Absolutely gutted. We're very lucky that the fighters were very professional and gentlemen about it. Like we said, everyone was going to get paid, and they did. So no matter whoever was out there kind of shouting that we're not going to pay this and that, I think we proved that wrong. Okay, it took longer than we wanted.
It did.
And no one wanted that more than us, you know. And like I said, we lost a lot of money to do that. We could have just given up and said, look, but we didn't. We found the money, took a massive hit, made sure that everyone was, you know, was looked after. And that's something that we'll always prevail to do. You know, now we've taken steps to make sure that that won't happen again. But that was a learning curve, you know. And
we're the first to put our hands up and say we've made mistakes.
Yeah,
so you know, we're the first people to say that we've made mistakes and we're learning by them. You know, we've been going, you know, about a year, and what we've done in a year, I think, is very good. You know, we're proud of what we've been able to achieve in a year and what we've done. And like I say, we've made mistakes within that year, but I think we've done a lot of good as well.
Dave's obviously a big name in UK MMA. He's been doing it for a long time. He does it successfully. So, I mean, I always hear good things about his shows. You know, at the end of the day, he's got his market that he always packs out. You know, which is a good stage for fighters to get on. There's Chris Sorber I know about as well, obviously doing good things up north. Then the negative I'd say, and like I say, I'm not like Andy Jardine in the fact I'm going to sit there and rip him to bits, but a lot of the stuff he says is unfounded and, to be honest, quite childish. And I've never had a problem with Andy. Andy and I got on.
I've never had a problem with him, to be honest. And he sort of took it on himself to start a hate campaign against me. I mean, his main reason really is he thinks I went to his show for the sole purpose of stealing Dane from him.
Which annoys me, and I'll clean that up right now. Basically, I was booked to DJ at his show. I played 10 minutes before a huge fight erupted, and the police came in and it got shut down. Now, that wasn't a good show for me. I wasn't overly impressed, so I wouldn't have really gone back and worked with him anyway. But about stealing me, I'm a 30-year-old man. I've got quite a successful background in whatever I've done, and if I want to go and DJ for someone else, that's what I'll do. And that's actually how it happened. I went and DJ'd for Matt at Celtic.
In the after party, I said, "Oh, how you doing? I'd like you to come and DJ. I'll throw you a table."
I think Andy actually introduced us. I mean, it's just, you know, it's one of them silly things. And like I said, I'm not going to sit and badmouth the man, but I just think that it's not fair that he puts all this stuff on Facebook. I don't know, the Facebook thing kills me, to be honest. I mean, I'm not 12. But I mean, you know, that's fine. He does all that, and the Knuckle Up thing. To be honest, I think the Knuckle Up's not bad. I think that's quite fun.
He stole that from Dave O'Donnell,
That gave you a lot of good PR in a way.
Listen, he actually promotes our shows for us.
Because there's people out there that didn't know you were on.
Of course.
You know?
Exactly. Yeah,
so,
exactly.
I mean, cheers.
He changed one of our posters as well. He altered one of our posters.
It was quite good, actually.
But yeah, he did a good job, and he didn't alter the date, the times, the prices. So.
But the problem is, he gets to the point where, you know, when it starts affecting me as a business, for instance, Dane Bauer's the name, is my business, and he starts saying stuff that is slanderous and whatever else, then that's when it starts taking it too far. And that's something that I won't really stand for. So I'm hoping that he's going to, you know, get over it at some point and leave it. If not, then
hopefully,
you know, maybe something will be done. But
to help the sport, hopefully that's what he's going to do. You know, we're trying our best to help the sport, the fighters mainly, and just grow it in the country because it needs help.
And like I say, it's the first time we've answered it. You know, he writes all this stuff I've never ever answered. I've never sat there and given my side or whatever else. And this is the chance to do that, you know?
What the interview was for.
Exactly. I mean, don't get me wrong. I'm sure that a lot of people sit and go, God, Dane Bowers, who does he think he is? He don't know anything about MMA. And to be honest, I'm learning as I go. I don't know too much. You know, Matt and Donna do most of that. I'm learning. I'm actually loving it. Met a lot of great fighters that have opened my eyes, even down to the fact of, for instance, the Bolton show. Disastrous, but we had it policed because the police were worried about it, like what's going on. The chief of Bolton Police came up at the end of the show, shook my hand and said, you know what, you've changed all of our minds about MMA. Absolutely brilliant show. We didn't think it was, but you know, so end of the day, we're trying to do good things. You know, I've got it onto radio stations and TV stations that wouldn't have a clue or talk about MMA at all, and that's what we're doing. You know, and people at Andy, I think, to be honest, kind of, you know, can kind of put, you know, throw a bit of a spanner in the works and ruin what could be a really good sport and just turn it into a slanging match, which is pointless. I mean, I'd love him to go and do a great show and it's really busy and more people know about MMA. It helps us.
Don't make a difference to us, you know. We're not in competition with people like, you know, we don't need to be.
There was a lot of talk at the minute about a UK governing body for MMA. I think there's 3 people in the frame. What's your thoughts on that as a...
It needs it. It definitely needs it, but it's going to be a long time coming. There's too many egos. I'd love it. I'd love it too. But there's too many egos who think, you know, their input is going to be more important than the other person's. It needs to be a complete outsider coming into it. Like I said, we do need it, and the sport will benefit from it. But I think we're a good 2 years down the line from it yet. Easily.
Next question is probably the most relevant one at the minute, is the recent allegations in the Sun, the tabloids, the drug dealing.
Yeah. Apparently, yeah, we're like, I don't know, like Bath's version of Scarface. I think the problem with that is maybe what I bring to that as well. Maybe if I wasn't involved, it wouldn't have been a story.
No, I don't think so.
So I think that's made a bit of a problem. To be honest, it's been devastating. On my front, it's lost me a lot of work. Basically, what's happened is, which is absolutely baffling, is that basically one of our fighters was pictured at the back of my car receiving some gloves. I mean, a busy car park. Outside a hotel, 2 pubs,
opposite
cameras,
the
everything.
Bolton Arena.
Yeah, so a fighter, basically, that was it. But apparently, he's not even involved in the drug case, but apparently his friends are drug dealers. Basically, the police, on a picture, decided to
That's it. 2
to
pictures
raid our houses.
of me and Dane speaking to this fighter.
And that's it. But the annoying thing about it, and definitely for me, is that, and I know like people would say either way, I've never touched a drug in my life.
No,
I wouldn't even sit there and say, you know, people dabble or whatever. I've never even tried a cigarette. So for me, it was a bit ironic. And my mum and dad were like,
exactly the
really?
same for me. It was pretty laughable, to be honest. When I read the sheet and I read the word drugs, I looked at my wife and it was just, you know what?
Yeah. And don't get me wrong, people were laughing and joking about it, and there's, you know, little jokes here and there, and that's, you know, pinch of salt. But I don't think it's very nice to have, you know, 5, 6 policemen raid your house and, you know, armed police when your kids are in bed and stuff. I think that's very nice.
It's also bad for the sport.
It's horrible.
That kind of allegation.
Oh, it is.
It is.
They love it. I mean, it's because they attached it to cage fighting. It wasn't mixed martial arts. It was drugs, cage fighting, throw in Dane Bowers, and they got a story.
Yeah, so I kind of, I mean, I won't apologise for it, but I can see how that can be harming. But we will rectify that when we can.
2011, we've got our dates booked. We're going to be championing a lot of young and up and coming fighters throughout the whole year. At the end of the year, we're looking, if we've done a good, you know, set of fights, we've got 8 dates booked. At the end of those 8 dates, we're going to say, right, okay, let's put on a show, showcasing all the best fighters throughout the year. Give them a chance on a real big stage, lovely venue. And you know, just have a good year, basically. You know,
we're just going to slow down
back
a bit.
Up. Yes, build ourselves back up to the point where we went in at. You know, because everybody thought Knuckle Up's great, Knuckle Up's the best at one point. You know, we couldn't get enough praise. And then a couple of mistakes we hold our hands up to, pushed us right down there. People's opinions changed, but like I say, 2011 is the year where we're going to come back strong.
We've heard from Matt, we've heard from Dane. Now we'd like to hear from you guys. Please feel free to leave a comment underneath.